Hello students, welcome to the Math Masteries Online Series Lesson 4. Now students, we have already went through 3 lessons and done 3 quizzes, right? The first quiz was worth 10 points, the second quiz was worth 50, the third quiz is worth 50, and I hope some of you have already done lesson 4's quiz for another 50 points. If you have not done so, don't worry, don't rush, because later on in class, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do lesson 4's quiz. Okay, now before we begin, everybody, click on that like button and share the video. Now, students, let's take a look over here. How do you get bonus points? Okay, let's see. Over here, and if you notice in the description of this video, you will notice that there are ways for you to get bonus points, altogether 60 points. I've already told you this last week, right? If you have not done so, you can do it now. Like and follow our Facebook page, share this video on your timeline. Now, when you share the video, tell your friends to join Math Mastery using your student ID, okay? If they use your student ID, you get even more points, right? And also, you can subscribe to Tutify on YouTube by clicking this link. So do all these, take a picture of what you did and send it to us on Facebook Messenger. You will be given your 60 bonus points altogether. Let's see which team is leading, okay? Team America is still in the lead. Team Thor and Team Hulk are quite close. Team Hulk can easily catch up with Team Thor anytime. Team Panther is also 600 points 600 points away from Team Hulk. So, students, every team will get a prize, but the winning team will get a little bit better prize, right? Now, who is leading? Oh, wow, you have Tyler, Srikandan, Gigi, Michael, Charlie, Matthew, Marina. Okay, all of you here are actually in the lead right now. So don't worry, at the end of the series, it's going to get more and more difficult. I have a feeling that the tie wouldn't last for so long, okay? So students, click the like button and share this video. I give you 10 seconds to do so now. Yes, very good. I see many of you liking this video. Yes, well done. Yes, you're sharing this video as well. Good job, students. Good job. Now, for those of you who are just joining us, welcome to the Math Mastery Online Series. The Math Mastery Online Series is an exclusive free training program to improve your critical thinking skills, and it is also a mini competition where the top prize is a brand new iPad. If you have just joined and you have not downloaded your worksheet, just click on the link here. Click on the link above this video here. You will go to this page. You log in, scroll down, download your worksheet. Solutions are also available. Last week's solution is already there. And you can do the quiz to earn points. Okay, the minimum passing mark for this course is 300 points. Okay, last week I've already shared with you how to earn 60 extra bonus points. Look at the yellow highlighted one. Okay, that is how you earn 60 bonus points. At the same time, today, students, there's another way that I'm going to share with you later on in the middle of the class. I'm going to tell you how to win 70 bonus points later on. But first, let's get started on our worksheet of the day. Students, I hope you have downloaded your worksheet, okay? Lesson 4, we are going to get started with example 1. Now, students, this is a visualization question. It is very useful for geometry questions, especially when it comes to area, parameter. So let's take a look. They are telling us that there's so many squares, right? And they are all inside each other. Of course, the smallest square is the shaded square, right in the middle. The shaded square is the smallest square. They have already told us that the length of this biggest square is 8 centimeters. 8 centimeters. So, of course, we can find the area of the biggest square, right? Come, let's find the area of the biggest square. In order to find the area of a square, you need to take the side multiplied by the side. You get 64. That's easy. Done. Now, what are we going to do? There's so many squares overlapping each other. I'm going to draw an extra diagram here, okay? Now, students, can any of you tell me, Can any of you tell me if I have a small square inside a big square, right? Look at the yellow shaded square here that I've just drawn. Can you tell me what fraction of the big square is the small square? Can you type in the comments? Yes, students, correct. Half. Okay, the small square is half of the big square. How do I know that? Let's draw some additional lines. Let's draw some additional lines. And guess what? We now have 8 triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 triangles. How many triangles out of 8? 4 of them are shaded. Do you notice out of 8, 4 of them are shaded? That means half of the figure is shaded. What can we learn from this, students? Every time you see a small square inside a big square, the small square is always half of the big square. Now we can solve the question. We already know that the biggest square is 64 centimeters. The area is 64 cm square, right? Then we know that the smaller square is always half of the bigger square. So 64 divided by 2, you know that this is 32. Again, another smaller square inside a bigger square. 32 divided by 2, the smaller square is 16. Continue dividing by 2, the next one is 8. And finally, 8 divided by 2, the smallest square has an area of 4. So let's do our working, students. The area of the smallest square is 64 divided by 2, divided by 2, divided by 2, divided by 2, right? 64 divided by 2, 32, divided by 2, 16, divided by 2, 8, divided by 2. Finally, you have our answer. 4 cm square, and it is done. I think this is quite simple, right? But as you know, our questions always get more and more difficult. So, are you ready? Let's move on to example 2. This is still visualization question. Now, students, before we start, I need to introduce to you what is a dice. Okay, I don't know if you have seen dice before. If you play board games, then I'm sure you have seen dice, right? 1, 2, 3. You know, they have some dots on them. And that will, when you roll the dice, then whichever number faces up is your number. So the dice is in the shape of a cube. Okay? A cube is actually a 3-dimensional square, 3D. Okay? And it has 6 faces. Every cube has 1 face, 2 face, 3 faces. At the back, 4 faces. At the bottom, 5. And over here, 6. Actually, it has 6 faces, but I cannot draw all of them because I'm drawing on paper. Okay, but you just have to visualize what a cube looks like. Okay, it has 6 faces. Now, they're asking you here in this question. They're telling us that the opposite faces add up to 7. The diagram shows a piece of cardboard that can be folded to form a die. So students, every box, if you have ordered anything from Amazon online, you know, when they deliver to you, it comes in a box, a cardboard box. Every box was actually folded from a piece of cardboard, a flat piece of cardboard, right? So same goes for this dice. It can be folded using this piece of paper. If you have a piece of paper in this shape and you fold along the lines, you will be able to form a cube, all right, which is like a box. So students, how do we know which faces are opposite each other? They are telling you that the opposite faces will add up to 7. So which face is opposite which face? Now, if you were to imagine, let's look at A and let's look at B. B is right beside A. If I were to fold the piece of paper, do you think B will end up opposite A? No, it will not. Okay, let me show you what it will look like. If this is A and B is right beside A, then B will be over there. It will not be opposite. Oh, what is the meaning of opposite? Opposite is behind, you know. That is the opposite side of A. So the first rule is that any square which is right beside each other, they cannot be opposite. They cannot. They can just be beside each other. For example, look at this with 6 dots, right? The 6 dots are right here. After folding the paper, the 6 dots will end up on top. So which one will end up opposite? Okay, one more thing. This number 5 here, it will end up beside the A. Because if you imagine, once you fold it, this side and this side will touch each other when you fold it. So the number 5 will end up beside A. So the number 5 will be on the left-hand side. Yeah? What is going to be below A? Look at C. C is right at the bottom. It is going to end up below A at the bottom. So which one is opposite A? That leaves us with the number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be behind A. So students, something else we can learn from here is that when you are one square away, for example, this is A, then this is a extra square, and then you are one square away from A, then you can be opposite A. So we know that the number 4 is over there. So what is A? They know that they are telling us that the opposite faces add up to 7, right? That means A plus 4 must be 7. That gives us A equals to 3. Therefore, A equals to 3. So we already found the value of A. Let's try to find the value of B. What is opposite B? B is on the right-hand side, and this is on the left-hand side. So the number 5, B plus 5, the sum of opposite sides must be 7, right? I take the two opposite sides, I add them together, you're supposed to get 7. So B must be 2. So we write, therefore, B equals to 2. Now let's look at C. Who is opposite C? C is at the bottom, 6 is at the top. So C plus 6 must be 7. Therefore, C equals to 1. And students, that is how we find A, B, and C. Now, visualization is a very important skill to learn in math. It will help you to solve a lot of geometry questions, triangles, squares, circles, everything. So, if you have trouble visualizing, what you can do is this. Print out this worksheet. Print it out and please take a pair of scissors and cut this page. Cut this shape out. After cutting it out, you fold along the lines. You fold along the lines and then you make everything into a box. Then you'll get a die. You'll get a die. A die is a cube. Okay, basically it's a cube. The singular, if you only have one die, then it is called die. Okay? If you have many die, then it is called dice. So this is plural, this is singular, and this is plural. I don't know why I'm teaching English now. Okay, let's move on. Okay, moving on to example 3. Now we are learning about speed. So students, I'm sure all of you have, most of you know what is speed. Maybe you have seen it in the car, right? You see how fast is the speed of the car. So over here, we are talking about speed. The first thing we need to know when doing speed is, okay, now let's just do a small experiment first. Let's say we have this girl, Cindy. She is walking to school. So this is her home and this is her school. I do not know what is the distance from her home to her school, but the basic concept is that let's do a small experiment over here. Let's say I have this person, and this person is walking at the speed of 10 meters per second. Maybe this is running, it's quite fast, okay? 10 meters per second is quite fast. So if I know that he's running 10 meters per second, what does it mean? It means that he can run a distance of 10 meters in 1 second. That means in 1 second, he will run 10 meters. In 2 seconds, he's able to run 20 meters because every second, he will run 10 meters, right? Every second, he'll run 10 meters. You give him 2 seconds, he'll run 20 meters. 3 seconds, 30 meters. So on and so forth. So how do you find the distance? If I give you the speed, and I give you the time. Okay, let's say the time is 5 seconds. So I ask you, how far will he run in 5 seconds? You already know he's running 10 meters per second, right? Yes, very good. I can see you're typing 50 meters, correct. So the distance equals to the speed multiplied by the time. That means he can run 10 meters in 1 second, right? You are giving him 5 seconds. He will be able to run a distance of 50 meters. Okay? So, students, distance equals to speed times time. I have something to help you out. It is called the DST triangle. DST. What does it mean? Distance equals to speed times time. How do I know it's multiply? Because the speed and the time are side by side. Whenever it is side by side, you multiply. Now, if I want to find the speed, okay, let's say I want to find the speed. Speed equals to what is on top and what is below. Distance is on top, time is below. Distance divided by time. Speed is distance divided by time. And if I want to find the time, then I say, okay, distance is on top, speed is below. Time equals to the distance divided by the speed. So by using this triangle, we will be able to find the things that we want. So now, I have already drawn the distance from home to the school. I do not know how far it is, but what I do know is she takes 12 minutes. This is the time. And she's traveling at a speed of 70 meters per minute. So can you tell me, students, what is the distance? What is the distance from the home to the school? Very good. Correct. Yes, Janelle. Okay, I can see some of you typing already. Yes, Jin Kiet. Correct. The distance, if you want to find the distance, you must take the speed multiplied by the time. And you will realize that the speed is 70 meters per minute, and you took 12 minutes to travel. So the distance is 840 meters. That is the distance from the home to the school. We have found that. Now, the next part of the question states, if you want to run to school, if she increases her speed, she's running now 140 meters per minute. How many minutes will she take to reach her school? So now you want to find how many minutes. That means you're trying to find the time. If you want to find the time that she's taking, look at the triangle here. Time equals to your distance divided by the speed, right? So time equals to your distance divided by your speed. The distance we already found. And the speed is 140 meters per minute. So in this case, can you all type your answer? Can you do your division and type your answer? Correct. 6 minutes. You will take 6 minutes to reach the school. Okay, but students, one more thing. There's actually quite a few steps here. Okay, I did 2 sets of working. I even drew the diagram for your home and your school. Do you think that there's a faster way to get this? Do you think there's a faster way? Who thinks that there's a faster way to do this? Who knows? What other method can we use to find the answer even faster? Huh? What should we use? Any other method? Okay, I show you something, students. It's very logical. It's actually very logical. Do you agree, students, that if I travel at a very high speed, okay, if I increase my speed, then don't you think that I will reach my destination in a very much shorter time? Right? If my speed is very fast, I only take a very short time to reach my destination. So the time will decrease. I will take less time. When my speed increases, the time taken is going to decrease. So then we can say that the speed and the time are opposite to each other. They have an opposite relationship. Why do I want to explain this to you? Because we are going to use ratio to compare. Let's do a comparison. Before and after. Her original speed was 70 and later on her speed became 140. Now let's simplify this ratio. Ratio is very similar to fraction. If you want to simplify, you just cancel away the 0, divide by 7, divide by 7, 1:2, right? So we simplify this ratio, divide by 70, divide by 70, you get 1:2. Now, I've just explained to you that the relationship between speed and time are opposite of each other. So, if the speed is 1:2, the time is going to be opposite, 2:1. Now, we already know she took 12 minutes over here. Before she increased her speed, she took 12 minutes of time. So now I'm trying to find out how much time is she going to take over here. So since I know that this is 12 minutes, 2 times 6 equals to 12. You must times 6 on both sides. And what do you get? Straight away you know that she took 6 minutes. And that is how we do it, using ratio. You just need to compare the ratio of the speed and the time. And you know that the relationship between speed and time are opposite to each other. This will come in very useful, especially when we do more difficult speed questions. Okay? Now, students, if you have any questions, you can please type it in the comments. It's starting to get not so easy, right? I hope you are learning new strategies, okay? Now, example 4. Now, this question is going to be quite tricky. What are they trying to ask? The question is showing us this figure, and this figure is actually made by joining many different squares together, you know. Right? Oh, Tamal, you know how to do it. Very good, Tamal. So, it's made by joining many squares. Oh, Lisa, well done. Many squares together, right? What are they telling us? They are only telling you that the length of the side length, the smallest square has a side length of 1 cm. There, this one. This is 1 cm. The side length is 1 cm. Okay? Okay, so let me write down 1 cm. That's all they are telling you, you know. And then they're asking you to find the area. They want you to find the area of the entire figure. Okay, students? Now, given so little information, what are we going to do? I don't even know what is the length of this side. I don't even know what is the length of this side. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. How? Oh, you Jack, very good, you Jack. You got it, okay? So, okay, if we do not know, if they do not give us enough information, what can we do? We will create our own labels. Since I do not know what is the length of this, why not I just call it X? I'll just call it X. You want to call it A or B or C, or you want to call it L for length, it's up to you. As long as you use the alphabet, any alphabet will do. Okay, I'm going to call it X. Now, if I know that the length is, if I gave the name, if I called this X, that means it has a length of X centimeters. Okay, this is a square, so this must also be X. Now, my next question is this, students. What is this? What is this? I also do not know. Is it X? No, it's not X. This is a little bit shorter than X. How much shorter? Look here. Look here. This and this are the same because it is a square. So how much shorter? Do you notice that this is 1 cm, students? Do you notice that this is X? Okay, the whole thing here is X. Huh? So what is this? This must be X minus the 1 cm. Can you see, you minus this 1 cm, you get X minus 1. Okay? So now I know that this is X minus 1. And since this is also X minus 1 and this is a square, it's also the same, X minus 1. Okay? Now let's compare here. Let's look here. I know that this is X. And I know that this is 1 cm. So what is the total length here? This must be X plus 1, correct? This is X, this is 1, X plus 1. So then I can say this is X plus 1. And since it is a square, this side is also the same, X plus 1. And what about this one? Okay, let's compare. We already know that this is X plus 1, and guess what? You have an extra 1 over there, right? So X plus 1, you plus 1 again, then you will have X plus 2. Okay, because you plus an extra 1, right? And since it is a square, then this is also X plus 2. Now we know, now we have labeled the entire diagram. What can you tell, students? Do you notice that this length is the same as this length? How many X do you have here? 1, 2, 2X. And what is this? 1 plus 2 is 3. So from the top, 2x plus 3. I have 2x plus 3. This plus this. You have 2x. X plus x is 2x. 2x. 1 plus 2 is 3. So altogether you have 2 x's plus 3. What about the bottom, students? How many x do I have? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3x, right? So this is 3x minus 1 minus 1. What happens when you minus 1 2 times? You have a minus 2. 3x minus 2. I know now that 2x plus 3 equals to 3x minus 2. Now, let's stop for a while. I want you to look here. Students, if I want to bring the number 5 over to the other side, can I do this? Can? Nah, it is definitely wrong. How can 3 equals to 8 plus 5? What must I do? Look here. There's something wrong here. Change this to a minus sign, okay, students? 3 equals to 8 minus 5. Now it is correct. So what happens? When you bring something from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, you must change the sign. If it is a plus, you must change to a minus. If it is a minus, you must change it to a plus. Understand? So over here, what am I going to do? I'm going to bring this number 3 to the other side. What will happen? The plus will become a minus. Okay? Oh, never mind. I changed my mind. I want to bring this to the other side so that the minus will become a plus. Okay? Let me do that instead. Okay. Then I want to bring this to the other side. So this is actually a plus. Now it's going to become a minus. Okay? 3 plus 2 is 5. So what is 3x minus 2x? 3 minus 2, you have 1x left. So we know that x must be equals to 5. So now that I know x equals to 5, then I can simply find the length of everything. Okay, over here, what do I have? 2x plus 1, right? Over here, what do I have? 2x plus 3. Let's find out what is 2x plus 1 and what is 2x plus 3. 2x plus 1 equals to 2 times 5. Don't forget the x equals to 5, students. 2 times 5 plus 1, I get 11. What about 2x plus 3? The x is supposed to be 5, right? So 2 times 5 plus 3, I get 13. So what does this mean? I already know the length of the entire rectangle. This must be 13. This is 13, 2x plus 3 is 13, right? This must be 11. Can I find the area? Yes. Now I can find the area. I'm going to write down the area is 11 times 13, which is 143. Wow, what a long question, students. What a long question. We learned quite a few things from this, right? We learned that if we don't know, if we do not know what is the length, we give it our own alphabet. You can call it X, you can call it Y, you can call it Z, A or B or C, whatever you want to call it, up to you. But you just give your own alphabet. Then you start to compare it with the small little square in the middle. Then you have X minus 1, X plus 1, things like that. Okay, students, what else did we learn? We learned that, okay, if I want to bring a number from this side to the other side, you must change it to a minus instead of a plus. Or if it is a minus and you bring it to the other side, it becomes a plus. So that's something else that we have learned. Okay, students, if you have any questions, please type it in the comments. I will help you, okay? So let's move on to the last question. Example 5. Okay, I'm sure many of you have learned the method of assumption, correct? Now, what is the method of assumption? It is something which is it is something we use that can be better than guess and check. Because when you guess and check, it will take quite a long time. Maybe you'll guess the correct answer, maybe you will not. So method of assumption guarantees that you'll get the correct answer. This question has got to do with the method of assumption, but it is not the typical method of assumption. Because now they are telling you the difference between the girls and the boys. Now they are telling you that the girls received 93 more sweets than the boys, okay? For example, students, if I were to draw it out, okay, let's say this is the number of sweets. And this is the boys, and this is the girls. What does it mean? When you take the total number of sweets received by the boys and the total number of sweets received by the girls, and you compare it together, you realize that the girls must have 93 more sweets than the boys. That's what the question is telling you. Okay, students? So please take note of my graph. Please remember what they want. The question wants the girls to have 93 sweets more than the boys. So let's get started. Now, first, the question is asking you how many girls were there. So, why not we do this? Okay, let's just pretend, okay, let's assume that everybody is a girl. Let's pretend the 15 children, they are all girls. Okay? Now, the question is telling you that each boy received 5 sweets. Each girl received 9 sweets. If the 15 children are all girls, then what is the total number of sweets? Okay, assuming that everybody is a girl, that means all the 15 of them, they are all girls, you know. And each girl is receiving 9 sweets, right? Each girl gets 9 sweets. So I'm going to multiply it by 9, and I realize that the girls will have a total of 135 sweets. Now that is assuming everyone is a girl. That means how many boys are there? No boys, huh? Right now I'm pretending that there are no boys. Everybody's a girl. 15 girls, 0 boys. Let me draw my chart. Girls, boys. 15 girls. Okay, so how many sweets did they get altogether? Wow, so much. The girls are going to get a lot of sweets, no? Okay, 135 sweets altogether over here, right? How about the boys? There's no boys. 0, 0. Boys have 0. Now, what is the difference between the boys and the girls right now? Look at the difference. Wow, the difference is 135. Is this what the question wants? No. The question wants the girls to have 93 more than the boys. 93 more, huh? So what must we do, students? We cannot have so many girls, okay? You need to at least have some boys. Whenever we take a girl and we make the girl become a boy. So let's take away a girl. Whenever you take away a girl, what will happen? Do you notice that a girl received 9 sweets? If I take away the girl, do you agree that the number of sweets will minus 9 over here? Right? Okay, you will decrease by 9 sweets, huh? And if the girl becomes a boy, then the boy will receive, each boy gets 5 sweets, right? So if this girl becomes a boy, then the boys will have more sweets. It will increase. Increase by how many? 5, right? Do you notice, students, that there is a gap? There is a big gap between the girls and the boys. There is a gap. If I want the gap to be smaller, I just need to ask the girl to become a boy. Whenever the girl becomes a boy, the gap, okay, you're going to close the gap. The gap is going to be smaller because the girls are going to decrease by 9, the boys are going to increase by 5. Do you notice that the gap is now being smaller? At first, there's a very big gap. Then the girl decreased by 9, the boy increased by 5. You are closing the gap. So how much are you closing the gap? The girls decreased by 9. The boy increased by 5. You are closing the gap by 14 sweets, right? So every time a girl becomes a boy, the gap will close by 14. How much must you close it? Now look here. 1, 3, 5. This is the gap. Right now, this is the gap. It is too big, too big. I only need 93. I only want the gap to be 93, correct? So, how much is the extra gap? We actually have too much gap. We currently have 42 extra gap. We want to close the gap by 42. And I already know that every time the girl becomes a boy, we are closing the gap by 14. How many girls must become boys in order to close the gap by 42? If one girl become a boy, then we close the gap by 14. If 2 girls become a boy, we close the gap by 28, right or not? 3 girls become a boy. Okay, so how many girls must become boys? So the girl become boy, and we will have the number of boys because the girls become boys. That means we will have 3 girls becoming boys. There will be 3 boys. So how many girls are there? There were 15 children at the start. 3 of them are boys. There must be 12 girls. Alright, students. So what is the important part of this question? The gap. You draw a diagram like that, and you ask yourself, if everybody is a girl, wow, there's such a big gap, 135. I don't need such a big gap. The question only wants it to be 93, right? So how to close the gap? When the girl becomes a boy, then you minus 9 for the girl, and you plus 5 for the boy. You are closing the gap. Okay, students? Good. Yes, very good. So, everyone, we are done with the 5 example questions. It is time for the quiz. Before we do the quiz, remember just now I told you that there's another way to win bonus points. Let me show you. Let me show you the other way to win bonus points. Okay, students, look here. Last lesson, I told you that you can do this to get 60 bonus points, right? Now, let me reveal what is the way to get 70 bonus points. Complete an online practice. Okay, everyone. Go to your... You just look at what I'm doing. You don't need to do anything. Just look at what I do first. Complete your online practice. What does it mean? You see your Math Mastery page here where you download your worksheets from. You go to the home. Do you see that there's this practice here? You enter this. Okay, and I want you to choose middle primary or upper primary. Don't cheat and choose lower primary. If you use lower primary, I will not give you marks. Do middle primary or upper primary. As long, okay, you click on start practice. Okay, let's say I do middle primary. Okay, you do the practice. Okay, do the practice, submit. They will tell you whether you're correct or wrong. Go to the next one, right? Then you say, oh, none of the above. Okay, then I got it correct, right? So you keep on doing. Okay, let's say I get it wrong now. Okay, let's say I get it wrong. I got it wrong. They will tell you you are wrong. Okay, students, do your online practice. There's 25 questions. There are 25 questions in the online practice. Do the practice. And after that, when you submit, okay, let's say you end the practice, they will tell you whether you got it right or wrong. And you close this, they will show you that you did a practice on 5th of, okay, November 5th. Hey, is this November? Sorry. Okay, here. 27 November 2022. And what is your score? Students, if you can do the online practice, and if you can get at least a score of 30, I'm not demanding a lot. I just need you to get a score of at least 30. Then you will win the bonus point. Take a picture. I need you to take a picture of this. When have you done it? You score at least 30 marks. take a picture, send it to us on Facebook Messenger, and you will get 70 bonus points. Okay, students? Alright, so now it is time for us to do the quiz. You are given 5 minutes, everyone. Okay, if you have already done the quiz, you can go ahead and do your online practice, or you can ask me questions. I'll be here to answer you. Those of you who have not done the quiz, go to your Math Mastery. Go to events. Okay, events here, Math Mastery, right? Go down, click the start button and do the quiz. If you have trouble doing the quiz or anything like that, you can ask for help. Send us a message on Facebook Messenger so that the technical support can help you. Alright? So students, 5 minutes to do lesson number 4 quiz. Your time starts now. All right, students, time's up. Now, everyone done your quiz? Those who have done so, good job, okay? Sometimes some of you might not want to do it during lesson. You might want to do it sometimes some of you might want to do it during the lesson. Because if you do not know how to do some of it, then at least you see what I teach for the first 5 examples, and then you can do the question that you do not know how to do for the quiz, right? Then that will maximize your score. Doing the quiz itself will give you 10 points. Where even if you get everything wrong, as long as you try to do the quiz, you get 10 points. Okay? If you get all the questions correct in the quiz, you will get an extra 40 points, bringing the total points to 50. So, students, let's take a look at the quiz questions. Okay, those of you who are just joining us, okay, if you're late, hit the like button and hit the share button. Everyone, I give you 10 seconds to do so. And I will remind everyone that you can get 60 bonus points by doing the 3 things. Okay, let me show you. By doing the 3 things over here, you can get 60 bonus points altogether. Okay? So, students, hit the like button. Those of you who have not done so, I give you 10 seconds. Hit the like button and the share button. Very good. Okay, students, let's look at question 1 of the quiz. The diagram shows a circle. So we have a circle, and this circle is touching the square, and there's another square inside the circle, and the 4 corners of the square are touching the circle. Now, students, this is actually very important, you know. It is very important that the 4 corners of that square is touching the circle, and it's also important that the circle is touching the big square. Why? Okay, I'm sure some of you... Okay, what is the question asking first? They're asking you for... They are telling you that the area of the small square is 18. Right? And they're asking you to find what is the length of the side of this big square. So why do I say that it's very important for the circle to touch the square and also for the small square to touch the circle? Why is it so important? Let me show you why, okay? Now, I'm sure some of you would have tried to do this. Maybe you want to find what fraction of the... You look at the yellow part. Maybe some of you want to find what fraction of the big square is the small square. So maybe you will start to divide. Draw a lot of lines. Try to divide it like this. Right? And then you start counting the boxes. And you say, oh, you know how many boxes are shaded, things like that. Now, this way is going to be wrong. Why? Because different people will draw the lines differently, right? You see, I can draw the lines like that. Then maybe somebody else will draw the lines like that. Very big. Right? Different people will draw different lines. Everybody's answer will be different. So there's no fixed way. There's no fixed answer if you try to draw lines like that. What must we do, students? You notice that the corner is touching. So if I were to rotate the small square, let's say I rotate it 45 degrees, what will happen? Okay, what will happen is, instead of being a diamond, it will now become a square like this. It will now be rotated 45 degrees. Do you notice that the corners are still touching the circle? What does it mean if the corners are touching the circle? That means the size of the small square is not changing. It's still the same size because it is touching the circle. We did not make it bigger, we did not make it smaller, we just rotate it. The size is still the same, the area is still the same, okay? Then what am I going to do? Okay, now that we have this, right? Let us remove the circle. There you go. And what do you see now? Do you remember example 1? What did I tell you about example 1? Whenever you see a small square inside a big square, the small square is half of the big square. So if you now know that the small square is 18, that means the big square has an area of 18 times 2, correct? Okay, let me make some space first. So after rotating it, okay, we rotated, then we remove the circle, we get this. We know that the small square is half of the big square. So the area of the big square must be 18 times 2, which will give us 36. Can you tell me what is the side length? What is the length of the side of the big square? If you have an area of 36, that means you need to take 6 times 6 equals to 36. Therefore, the length of the side must be 6 cm, students. That's your answer. Okay? So what do we need to take note? Always take note that the corner of the square is touching the circle. And be more creative, everyone. Be more creative. Rotate it. And you will get a much simpler way to solve this problem. Those of you who got the correct answer, good job. Now let's try to move on to the next one. Now this is a visualization question again. As you can see, this is 3-dimensional, 3D. But what happens if you imagine you are a bird? You know, have you heard of this phrase, bird's eye view? Bird's eye view, that means you're looking from the sky. Imagine you're a bird, you're looking at from the sky, you look down. What do you see? Right? You will see everything, right, as if it was flat. Everything will look flat to you. Correct? So, imagine everything is in 2D. 2D means what? Flat. So if I'm imagining that I'm a bird and I'm flying over, and okay, imagine that I'm looking, this is my eye, okay, I'm looking from above. What will I see? I'll see 1 square, 2, 3 squares like this, and then I'll see another square here and another square here. Will I be able to see all this at the side? No, I cannot see. Will I be able to see this? No. Will I be able to see this? No. Will I be able to see everything else? No. I can only see those 5 squares. Understand? So my answer must be C. Okay, students? There you go. That's how we do this. Now, visualization is a very important skill. Unfortunately, there's no secret technique to improve it. You need to expose yourself to more geometric problems to improve your visualization skill. Once you master a good visualization skill, you'll be able to do geometry questions much better. Okay? Now, let's take a look at question 3. Remember what we learned? Okay, we learned about the triangle. Distance equals to speed multiplied by the time. Speed equals to distance divided by time. Time equals to distance divided by speed. So Henry took 15 minutes to cycle from home to the library. and his speed is 12 kilometers per hour. That means in 1 hour, he can travel 12 kilometers. So what happens is that he left his bicycle at the library. Okay, by the way, he took 15 minutes and his speed was 12 kilometers. So after cycling for 15 minutes, he left his bicycle at the library and he walked home. Yeah? And when he walked home, he took a longer time. Of course, you're going to take a longer time because walking is slower than cycling. Your speed is going to be lower, and therefore, the time taken will be higher. Remember, I told you that the relationship between speed and time is opposite. So let's do the relationship. Before, he was cycling, and after that, he was walking. What was his time taken? He took 15 minutes while cycling, 45 minutes while walking. So let's simplify this. Let's divide by 15 on both sides. 15 divided by 15, 1. 45 divided by 15, 3. Now I've simplified the ratio. And what is the relationship between speed and time? It is the opposite relationship. Instead of 1 and 3, the ratio of the speed must be 3:1. It's the opposite. Yeah? So, do we know that? Do we know his speed when he was cycling? Yes. It is 12. So, what is his speed when he's walking? Do you notice that if you take 3 times 4, you get 12? So, what is 1 times 4? Do it on the both sides. Multiply by 4 on both sides. Okay, I will write down. His walking speed is 4. And we are done. No need to draw diagram. Don't even need to use this triangle. No formula needed. Just compare the ratio and you know that the relationship between speed and time is the opposite. That's all. Anyone has any questions? You can type it in the chat, okay? Alright. So, let's take a look, everyone, at question number 4. This is very similar to example 4, right? So, what are they trying to ask you? First, they are telling us that there's a square. So the entire thing is a square, students. This entire thing is a square, okay? And this square is actually divided into 4 rectangles. Now, they are telling you that the sum of the perimeter of the 4 triangles is 40 cm. What is the area of the square? Okay, what is the meaning of the sum of the perimeters? That means you're taking this perimeter here, plus this perimeter, plus the perimeter of this rectangle, plus the perimeter of this rectangle. You're adding all the perimeters together, you know. And when you add all the perimeter together, you get 40 cm. Yeah? Find the area of the square. Okay, so now they need you to find the area of the entire square. How to find the area of the square? You need to know how long is this side. If you can find out how long is one side of the square, then you will have no problem. You have no problem getting the area. Okay, the moment you know how to find the side, you can just take side times side. Then you have the area of the square. Okay, so what are we going to do now, students? Let's just observe one rectangle first, okay? Let's just look at this rectangle first. I do not know what is the perimeter of this rectangle. Nobody told me. I don't know what's the perimeter. But there's something I will know for sure. I know for sure that if I take the perimeter of this rectangle and I divide it by 2, what will happen? Instead of getting the whole thing, I divide it by 2. I only get this and this. Yes or no? Then let's look at the next rectangle here. Instead of taking the entire parameter, I divide it by 2, what will happen? I will only get this and this, right or not? Same goes for this. I take the parameter of this, I divide it by 2, I will end up with half of it only. And the last one, I take the parameter, I divide it by 2, then you only end up with half. Hey, if I take all the parameter of the rectangles, I divide it by 2, I will get the parameter of the entire square. That is very useful. So let me write this down, okay? The parameter of each of all the rectangles, if you divide it by 2, will give you the parameter of the entire square. So, okay, let me just draw it properly. I will be trying to find the parameter of the entire square. How do I do that? I take the parameter of all the rectangles, which is 40 cm, right? And I divide it by 2. So parameter of the square equals to the parameter of the rectangles divided by 2. And I know that the parameter of the square is 20. The green line is 20. So what is the... Can I find the side of the square now? I have 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sides. 4 sides giving me 20. So one side must be 5 cm. And now I already know that one side is 5 cm. That means I know that the area of the square must be 25 cm square. There you go, students. That's how you do it. Once again, we use our visualization skills to imagine. And we must be a little bit creative, okay? Math is not about memorizing formulae, right? We must be creative. There's so many different ways to solve the problem. The more creative you are, the more problems you can solve. Okay, students? Alright, very good, Carsten. Kevin Do also. Yes, you got the answer 25. Nidai, well done. Yes. Tamal also. Himashi, yes, good job. All of you. Melissa, yes, well done. So let's look at question 5 now. Again, okay, it's going to be similar to example 5. This question will require us to use the method of assumption. What is the question asking for? The question is telling you that there are some farmers. How many of them? 38 farmers, okay? There are 38 farmers and they are actually harvesting mangoes on a farm. Each man is going to harvest 14 kg of mangoes. Each woman is going to harvest a little bit less, 11 kg of mangoes. And they told us that what is the difference? What is the gap? What is the gap? The difference between the men and women. 232 kg less mangoes than the men. Let's draw this out, okay? How should it look like? This is the number of mangoes. This is the man, these are the women. The men, I don't know how many they pluck. The women, I also do not know how many mangoes they pluck. But we know that the question says that the gap, this is the gap between men and women. Okay, imagine that there's a line here. This is the gap between men and women. What should it be? It should be 232. That is what the question wants. How do we get it? Okay, students. So let's put this away first. This is what we want, right? Everyone remember this, This is what we want, Let us start by assuming. Let us assume that all the farmers are men. So all of the 38 farmers are men. That means there's 38 men, okay? The total number of mangoes, 38 men, each man is plucking 14 kg. So you will have a total of 532 kg of mangoes. If everybody is a man. That is if everybody is a man, right? So if I were to draw the diagram now, if everybody is a man, okay, these are the number of mangoes, huh? The how many kg of mangoes? These are the mangoes, 532 kg of mangoes if they are men. Everybody's a man. How many women are there? If I'm pretending that everybody is a man, that means there's no women. 0 women. They did not pluck anything because there's no women. We are pretending that there's no women. There's going to be 0 mangoes. What is the gap, students? Wow, what a big gap. It's too much already, students. They only want you to have a gap of 232, right? So there's so much extra gap, you know. How much is the extra gap? The extra gap is 300, right? So we need to try to close the gap. The gap is too big. I need to close the gap by 300. So let's start to pretend, okay? Let's start to pretend that the man become a woman. Okay, let's say one man becomes a woman. What will happen? The number of mangoes here will drop. Drop by how much? If one man becomes a woman, it will drop by 25. And the woman will increase by how much? Okay, because each woman is plucking 11 kg, right? So this man, sorry, it'll drop by 14. Because the man is plucking 14 kg, now he's going to join the woman's team. Imagine he switched to the woman's team, right? Instead of being a man, he switched to the woman's team. The man will lose 14 kg of mangoes. The women will increase. Okay, when you have one woman now, it will increase by 11. So you're closing the gap. How much are you closing the gap? The gap is closing by 25. Okay, every time the man becomes a woman, the gap will close by 25 because the number of mangoes for men decrease by 14, but the woman will increase by 11. So the gap is being closed by 25. How many men must become women? Okay, so number of women. How many men must become women to close the gap by 300? So we know that the gap is 300. Every time the man becomes a woman, the gap closes by 25. So that means we will end up with 12 women. And the problem is solved, students. That is how we do it. Okay, after it increases, okay, the gap, okay, you must close the gap. So when you close the gap between men and women, okay, this is the gap. Okay, when you close the gap until it becomes 232, then you are getting it correct. That is what the question wants. So students, well done today. We have finished lesson 4 of the Math Mastery online series. Now, of course, if you have any questions, right, please type it in the comments. I can see that Yen is asking, is each question worth 8 marks? Because the quiz has 5 questions, and I told you that the total number, if you get full marks, you have 40 marks. If you have all the questions correct, you have 40 marks for getting the questions correct, and 10 marks just for doing the quiz. Total is 50. Now the answer is this, okay? In the quiz, even though there's 5 questions, it is worth 40 marks, but not every question have the same weightage. Some questions are only worth lesser marks, but the more difficult questions are going to be worth more marks in the quiz. So I hope that answers your question, yeah? Okay? So students, yes, Kaden, very good, Kaden. Okay, so students, one last thing before we go. How do you earn bonus points? Let's take a look. In order to get 70 bonus points, do your online practice, okay? This will help you to improve your critical thinking skills. Go and do your practice, 25 questions. If you get at least 30 points, take a picture, send it to us on Facebook Messenger. Tell us what is your student ID. We will give you these 70 bonus points. Okay, everyone, how do you do the quiz? Sorry, not quiz. How do you do your online practice? Go back to your Math Mastery website. Click on Home. Click on Enter. Go and do middle primary or upper primary, okay? Then you click on Start Practice. Then you can do the questions. Okay, students? So well done today. Thanks for joining me. It was a very fun lesson. We have learned about speed. We have learned about visualization skills. We also learned about method of assumption, and that there's so many ways to solve problems. You must be creative. So remember, students, the solutions of today's lesson will be available, I think, 1 hour from now. You can download it from the Math Mastery page. You will also be able to do lesson 5 quiz starting from tomorrow, because our next lesson is on Wednesday. So I'll see you on Wednesday. I'll be here for the next 5 minutes if you have any questions. If not, see you on the next lesson on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Singapore time. Bye, everybody. Okay, let's see if anyone has any questions. Okay, let's see. Anyone has any questions? Now, Sally, you can, yes, bye Lachia, bye Chen Zhao. Yes, Kevin Du, well done, you got everything correct. Bye Lisa, bye Kaden. Now, Sally, if you need to look at example 4, you can download the solutions from the Math Mastery page, full solutions, okay? And you can, if you want to watch if you don't understand anything, and you need to revise, what you can do is go to YouTube. Because when you go to Tutify Education's YouTube page, all the previous lessons are there. Lesson 1, Lesson 2, Lesson 3, and Lesson 4 is going to be uploaded very soon. Okay, it's always good to do revision. Very good, Sally. Always good to do revision. Bye, Ling Gao. Effie also. Denise. Yes, Denise, have a good day. Bye, Yu Jack. Cursing, yes, well done. Okay, anyone else has a question? How many teams, how much does the teams have? Oh yeah, we forgot to check the score for the teams. Come, let's take a look at who is the winning team, okay? Okay, let's take a look at the winning team. Over here, I'm going to refresh my page. Are you ready? Refreshing. Oh yeah, why take so long? Hurry up. Okay, Team America is still leading, but Team Thor seems to be catching up. Because I remember before this, right? Team Thor was about 1,000 points behind, but now Team Thor is only 800 points behind Team America. Wow, well done, Team Thor. And Team Hulk is also increasing the points. Panther is catching up with Hulk. Just now, Panther was 600 points away, right? Now, Panther is only about 400 plus points away. Okay, students, you never know. Because now we are only halfway through the Math Mastery online series. You never know that suddenly a team can just shoot ahead and catch up with another team, right? Oh, this is so exciting. I can't wait to see who is going to be in the lead next week. Okay, so students, thanks for joining me today. I hope you all will download the worksheet for lesson 5. It will be available, I think in 1 hour it should be. Or is it tomorrow? I think tomorrow lesson 5 worksheet you can download, and you can already do the quiz for lesson 5. So all the best. I hope you maximize your points to win that iPad. Bye everybody. Bye. Don't forget to drop us a message on Facebook to get your bonus points. Bye.